What is going on, everybody? So good to see you guys. I'm gonna go. Oh man, all I have is my phone right now. My laptop's down, so I'm gonna do this real quick. Gonna go over to my Facebook, make this happen, so everybody will be able to watch tonight's absolutely awesome episode. Cool. We're public. That means if you have any comments, anything you want to say, it should show up. So please feel free, like, share, comment. We got a really good show today. Adjanu Bouzi is here. Oh, I didn't even ask him how to pronounce it. I hope I got it right. Adjanu Bouzi is here from, I forget the name of the, I think it's Star Sky Comics. He's got Aslan the Awakening coming. It's on Indiegogo right now, so it's gonna be good, man. We have a bunch of absolutely amazing creators happening this month. I'm very excited about this month. We got some super cool people, and he's gonna start it all up. Brian Manell is in the house. Much better, man. My throat's still a little like chunky or whatever, but I'm here. Dominic, hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I think no, I can't. No, now if it's a bad show, it's all on me. Good to see you guys. So glad you guys are here. We're gonna have fun. Yeah, man. Thank you. See, you guys are amazing. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm in a better place. We're gonna have a great guest. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. It's gonna be good, man. And actually, we already have like a packed house coming up. I always tell the guests, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna chat with everybody. But you guys are coming out quick. Like you guys are really making this happen. So we have a new guy, a newer creator showing up. So I'd love for you guys to ask him all the questions. Let's really get into his processes and what he's doing. And let's have a really good night tonight. So without any further ado, why don't we make this thing happen and have us some fun? 3, 2, 1, let's do it.
Canadian bacon is actually really good, and it's nothing like normal bacon, and it's better than ham, which you guys seem to call Canadian bacon. I'm very good at writing. I write very well. Yeah, it's Shop Talk.
Do some of your audience members like the word fuck? Cool. Then I'm going to keep saying fuck because I care.
What is going on? Did I say your name right?
Man, you said it better than most people do on their first try.
Okay.
So good credit to you.
Thank you. So how would you say your name?
So Adjanu, like Adjanu Bouzi.
Adjanu?
I
It's
might be-
Bouzi?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. I love it. I think she's talking about you. I'm not sure.
She's probably talking about you.
What do we got? Everyone, dude, we have so many great people out here. How you feeling? Can't blame. Yeah, I can't blame COVID. Doing much better. We can credit being better if the show is great. Well, I mean, I guess you could. I'm not sure about that. I just got over COVID. Had 2 weeks of that shit. It was not fun, but it wasn't bad either. Like I was very lucky. It was symptoms weren't bad at all. I don't like to miss taking pot shots at you. Good, man. By the way, I don't know if we talked about this before. I hope you're coming to Comic Palooza because I'll be there. Canadian bacon. That's right. I'm in the house. Ajanu?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just trying to make sure I get it right. So, why don't you tell everybody, introduce yourself, and tell everybody about yourself.
Okay. So, hello everybody. My name's Adjanu Bouzi. I'm from the Caribbean, the island of Haiti. I've been in Connecticut for about 17 years now, and I enjoy making comic books, right? And I have my first ever comic book on Indiegogo now. It's called Aslan the Awakening.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about Aslan Awakening?
So the best way to describe it, without going too deep into it, would be what if you took Naruto, right, from Naruto, and you put him in the Star Wars universe, right? So you take this being with like a demonic being within him that whispers words to him, and you put him in a world where emotion plays a big part of like the powers that you have. And what you would get is Aslan. You're warrior that's trying to bring balance to the world, but first he has to learn to bring balance within himself.
That's cool. This is your first book, right?
This is my first comic book. Yep. Before this, I did a novel called Phoenix Journal Choices, but I quickly realized that novels are not the way to go.
Everyone has their strength, and you know what? I actually really like that you picked that, because for me, I agree. As a writer, comics are more my thing. I don't enjoy uh the descriptions as much. Having to describe everything really gets tedious for me, and so yeah, I prefer comics and kind of working together. My wife, on the other hand, that is where she shines. So she loves that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I think that's really cool that you did a novel and you went, oh yeah, that's
That's
not my thing.
That's not it. I feel like,
no, go ahead.
I feel like with the novels, it just, it's cool because you're writing you can write a lot more, right? Because with the comics, it's more graphic, right? But I enjoy the comics more because, like, when my artist sends me the pages, like, I'm seeing it like, wow, this is what I imagined, and now it's on a page. Yeah, that's like the best feeling. Because I'm not an artist. In case you guys didn't know, I can't draw.
Dude, okay, so you're the writer publisher, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We got Braden Cox here. He says, I'm just here to tell Chuck I love him. Thank you, buddy. Right back at you. Also, the guest seems like swell individual. I agree.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Peyton says, I might make an appearance. Yeah, dude, if you are in the area, make an appearance. At least pop by, man. It's always good to see you. Hell, we can hang out or something. Dominic says, this is funny. Me and the girlfriend just finished our 2 episodes of Naruto for the day just before you popped online. So you brought him into that.
What I was talking about.
Peyton says, what's a Naruto? Naruto is a very famous anime. Yeah. I have never actually seen an episode of it. I'm not a big anime guy. I'm just trying to get into anime. Like I'm trying to pick up ones. What am I watching right now? I'm on season 3 of Attack on Titan.
That's a really good one.
I've heard good things about it. I'm excited about it. I really want to kind of, I've heard a lot, there's a lot of world building and a lot of really intricate story pieces there. And so I wanted to check that out just as someone who enjoys storytelling and whatnot. There's still some things in a lot of the anime stuff that it doesn't play well with my sensibilities as far as storytelling, but I respect it. And the other things that they do really well. So I can kind of just go, yeah, that part's not for me, and move past it. But yeah, I can see why people would enjoy it so much. It's almost its own different language in art.
Yeah. It's like storytelling through battles, like through like fights and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm punching you in the face, but I'm doing this because you killed my whole clan, and now I'm getting revenge. Yeah. Making the world a better place by beating you up, type stuff. And yeah.
Eric Cockrell loves some Lupin the Third. That's his anime shit. Nice. I haven't heard of that one either. So let's go into this. You are first off, I would love to hear your origin story as far as being a fan of comics, and then your origin story of how you decided to start making comics.
Okay. So for comics, crazy story is, growing up, I never seen a comic book until I was like 12, right? Because I'm from the island, and I'm just speaking from my childhood in Haiti. Like, I never seen comic books. I didn't even know comic books were a thing, right? But then when I came here, it was like, this whole time this thing existed and I never got one, like, yeah. And I think my first comic book ever was like a Spider-Man issue, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. And then I got into them, and when I went to but comic books always seemed like something that was like impossible for me to do, because I don't draw, right? Like, drawing was never something I was good at, so I never got into it. So I just used to like write stories for myself and not really like ever think of one day I would be making comic books. But then I went to the military, and while in the military, I shared some of those stories. And one of my friends told me about crowdfunding and how he did his campaign through like Kickstarter. So then I did that.
Is that a fellow soldier who is also a comic creator?
Yep.
That's cool. I love that. I've met a couple soldiers who are into comics, like create comics and whatnot. That's badass. I like that, man. That you guys are able to still be out there, do what you do, but also follow that dream. Makes you feel any better. I wasn't into comics until about 2 or 3 years ago. You know what? I love that shit. I love that at any age you can suddenly just be like, this thing here, I love this thing. I want to get into it. So,
Yeah.
no, I hate when people try to kind of like hold it in and go, no. I've been a fan for 40 years, and it's like, man, that's not what it's about. It's just about loving what's being made.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So, yeah, all right, cool. That's really badass, man. Uh, how far? So you've got this first book out. It's on Indiegogo. Have you been able to like send any out yet? Have you had anybody who've been able to read it and talk about it? And
So I've had people talk about the digital version, but not like the physical, like because nobody got the physicals yet. But I do have the physicals ready.
ooh, yeah. Let's see here. I'm gonna put you on your own screen so we can see those. Show those up for. Oh, dude.
I do have the physicals.
How many pages is it?
Well, this first issue was 24 pages, but there's 6 pages of like prologue. 6 pages where I explain the world and stuff. There's also
Oh, what do we got here? Here, yeah, we're gonna put that in solo again. Oh, is that the print?
This is somebody got a canvas. So this is her canvas. I'm not gonna take it out of the plastic.
Wow.
Somebody's
So that was like a special tier?
Yeah, that was like the last tier.
How many of those were you selling?
I did about 6 of them. It was $250, and the person got a canvas of your choice. You got all the other rewards. Yeah.
That's so cool, man. I love that. That's really nice. Was it all basically the same image, or was it different characters and such?
For this one was just Gaia, one of my characters, but you could choose whatever image you wanted. If you wanted a cover, I would have put the cover on the canvas for you, whatever image from the comic book you wanted.
Okay. Very cool. So you haven't done any conventions yet, I assume then?
Nope.
So is that something you're preparing for mentally? Like, are you kind of getting your banner set up and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. So I live in Connecticut, so my first one is going to be in GamerCon at the casino, and it's in March.
Good for you. Okay. Do you have your pitch down?
Do I have my what?
Your pitch. So somebody walks by.
I'm trying. Like I'm trying. I'm trying to find like the best way to do it, to give my pitch.
So my suggestion is, and especially since like on my table I have not trying to flex or anything stupid like that, but there's a bunch of different books on there. So what I do is I have a couple of like 3 to 5 second pitches for each book, just to feel them out and see what interests them, because you can, as you hit each little quick pitch, they can kind of go, okay, yeah. So I think what I would suggest to you, being your first show, first off, look at what they're wearing and what they're holding on to. That stuff will very much speak to the kind of stuff that they like. And then you can sell it. So like if somebody walks by with a Naruto shirt, you're like, oh dude, I got a book for you.
Come here.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's your dude. You got to come check this out. I mean, obviously different things, different stuff that you think connects to your stuff. I mean, even well, it's fantasy based, right?
Yep, fantasy.
So even if you see like any fantasy stuff and whatnot, you can use all of that. I would definitely talk about the genre, and I would give them kind of a shorter pitch just to let them feel it out and see. And then if they start being interested, break into the kind of longer pitch, sort of aim it towards what they like. And most importantly, put that book in their hand. Let them feel it and flip through and look at the art. the art helps pay for a lot of that stuff. So that'll be really helpful.
Yeah.
So what do we got? Peyton says 30s, man, and practice starting conversations with randos in the streets. Yeah, man. That's so true. Just even pitch it to friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Pitch it to your mirror, whatever you can, just to kind of try it out.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds is what he meant. Okay, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. A good pitch, less than 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And Dominic says, yeah, look what we wearing. Example, I have Naruto keychains on my cane. Exactly, man. If Dominic walks by your booth, that's dude right there.
Right here. Come right here. Boys,
how long?
Something for you.
Right now, you did really good on Indiegogo. What are you guys at, if you don't mind my asking?
I think 6,100
on your first campaign. That's huge. And how many backers?
Like 157.
Great numbers. What would you say was your main way of getting yourself in front of backers?
I hate to admit this, but I sent a lot of DMs.
Yeah, I
understand like some people are offended by that, but I feel like just as a new creator, they're just like there's not many ways for me to just put myself out there. You know, like I can go on shows, I can do that, but I wouldn't reach as many people as I did.
If I remember you correctly, though, you did reach out to me in DMs, but you were super cool about it, because like a lot of times what these people will do is they'll just drop their link and they'll go, buy my shit. And I'm like, nah, fuck you, man. No. Like, that's so lame. But you actually came on and you're like, hey, man, I'm new. This is my first book. You gave me a little pitch, and then you threw it up there. And I was like, oh, this guy's actually talking to me. Okay, cool. Like, you actually gave me something rather than just kind of threw me. So, you know what? I think as much as I'm not a huge fan of hitting the DMs, you're right. It's your first book. It's not easy to do. But I think you did it the right way. There is a way to do it right, and I think you were kind of doing that. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is the Indiegogo still live?
Yes, it is. Still live.
How much longer do you have, or are you in the storefront now?
So I'm thinking about just using Indiegogo as just my platform, right? Just keep selling it on there, because I don't really have a website yet, and websites seem to be pretty expensive to manage, right? So I think I'm just keep it on Indiegogo, and I think we will leave it on until June, because until May 30th, 31st, and then in June I'm gonna have the campaign for the second issue. The second issue is gonna be 48 pages, because I learned that people don't really like 24 pagers.
Yeah. I mean, I've done well with 24 pages, especially since I'm trying to get it into publishing and whatnot, but you very much have to kind of find your thing and aim it. So I get that, man. And I know that there's certainly a bunch of people out there who that's what they prefer to do, is kind of the double digest, so to speak, those bigger ones. So I completely get that. And hell, if you're able to financially make that happen, like, good for you. You know what I mean? Can we get the link to the Indiegogo in the chat? Shoot. Are you able to get on the thing here and put the
try?
Okay. But in the meantime, yeah, man, guys, go check it out. See what you think. I mean, the art's stellar. Who's your artist? Like, who's your team?
So my team is me. I'm the creator, right?
Here we go. He's got Peyton's awesome. Also, Peyton has it up for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry. Team.
Yep. So my team is, I'm the writer, creator. I have that's on issue 1, right? Issue 1.
Yeah.
I'm the writer, creator. Jacob Noble was the artist. You can find him on Instagram at Jacob Noble Art. And then I have an editor. Her name is Clara Rose. I use her on Fiverr. Fever. I don't know how people pronounce it differently, but yeah. So I found her on there. But I've also gotten like edits done by a lot of other people because most of the time it was more like I wanted feedback, like, hey, do you think the story's good? Like, what do you think about it? Because I feel like different people would give you different like.
Was it a lot of friends and stuff, or was it like fellow creators and such?
They were like people I found that were like critics, pretty much. Like they provide services to look at your stuff and give you critics.
Good call, man. And see, I think that's smart, man. You're finding your way. Did you have like anybody sort of, or were you just kind of asking questions and going about and trying to figure your way, or did you just kind of know how you wanted to do it and went and did it?
For the comic book?
Yeah.
So I like do you mean I'm sorry, but do you mean like the story? How did I structure it?
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much I used KM Raylan, right? Like I'm not sure if you, but pretty much that's what she made. She made a book explaining how to tell stories, right? Like I feel like I growing up I used to like make my own stories, right? But I feel like she kind of taught me how to structure stories well together, right? So that's what I kind of used. It was like a workbook that taught you how to do that.
That's sweet, man. That's really good, dude. And I mean, that's huge. Having those books and whatnot. I have a bunch of different books around here. Even I'll take them with me when I'm on the road and stuff to read and learn and grow. And so yeah, I totally feel you. One of my favorites was Brian Michael Bendis's Words for Pictures is a really good one.
Yeah, I think I see that one too. I read it.
Dude, that's the way you got to do it, man. If you're gonna take it seriously, and obviously, like things are going good for you and stuff, so that's pretty sweet. What is the overall scope for Aslan the Awakening? Like how
is the book I used?
Okay, let's do the solo layout again. Okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that specifically for just writing in general, or was it kind of comic specific?
Yep, so it's specifically just for writing.
Okay.
It wasn't like based on like comic books. I also used this.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Yeah. That's it's such a good book, man. I learned so much, and even what's funny is I was already well into my career when I started reading that, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is really good. Not only did it teach me a lot, but even some fundamentals that I already had kind of learned, it sort of hammered them home. So that was really cool. Yeah. Dominic says, I took creative writing in high school. Sadly, never was able to learn story structuring. Dude, like he said, there's lots of different books to figure that out and check it out. And of course, if you have an editor, they can certainly talk you through it and help you, kind of talk about the rising conflict and all that kind of stuff, and denouement and everything in between.
and YouTube too, like just going on YouTube and putting story structure, you'll find a lot. A lot.
I mean, YouTube, as long as you find the right videos, it's basically like a university, like a college all by itself, man. Like you can learn anything. My wife fixed our fucking car just by going on YouTube, and she was able to find 2015 Ford Escape. Yeah, okay, pop, okay, badass. That's great. So yeah, man, you can learn almost anything on there, and there's tons of great comic creating individuals out there who have some absolutely awesome channels. So yeah, man, that stuff can always be found.
Yeah.
Shit. We really don't have a lot of comments or questions, guys. If you have anything to ask about, if you guys are wondering, anything more about his book or his influences, and actually, there's a good one. What are your influences? As far as I know, you said Naruto, but is there anything else where that's concerned?
Yep. So Naruto. Have you ever seen Princess Mononoke?
I haven't seen it, but I've certainly heard a lot about it.
Yeah, I've seen Princess Mononoke like 5 times. Like it's such a really good story. Like the main character, like the way he carries himself. You know, like it's like he's Kurt. I don't want to ruin it for you, but the main character carries himself really well, so I like that. You know, so I would say Princess Mononoke, Naruto, Star Wars, and like Dragon Ball Z, like you know the fighting and stuff.
Would you say that there's a science fiction aspect to Aslan?
Well, yeah. So it's kind of not a lot, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot of science fiction. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII is a fantasy, but it certainly has that sort of science fiction quality, or even like a steampunk quality of sorts. So there's an aspect. Okay, that's cool.
Have you seen the new He-Man that's on Netflix?
What, Kevin Smith?
I cannot tell you which one who made it, but it's like there's two new ones. There's one that's with the girl is the main character, and there's one where it's like He-Man can share his powers with his friends.
Okay, I don't know of those, but that's cool.
Yeah, so
there's people here who certainly would know that.
Yeah, so that I would say that one I got a lot of influence from too.
Yeah. Alfie, good to see you, man. We've got Adjanu here who's talking about his cool book, Aslan the Awakening. Feel free to ask any questions or whatever. Really good to see you, man. Hopefully, Alfie and I are hoping to hang out in Long Island when I go up there for a show in November. So that's exciting. Always exciting to meet new people. Well, and Alfie's not new to me. We're buds from years back. So I'll be excited to hang out, maybe have a beer with him or play a poker game or something, because I know he loves to play too. We both love the tables. Sam Bobby says, what genre do you prefer to write?
I guess fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, that felt right. Just by, I mean, if that's what your first book is, chances are, if you had to do another book and you were told it can't be fantasy, what do you think would be that second one you would go to?
Probably like a love story. I used to write poems a lot, like growing up. So I grew up in a household filled with girls, right? And I used to see them always get their hearts broken, and they would like tell me like, oh hey, like you know, like they would tell me stories about what happened. So I grew up like you know feeling very sympathetic towards women, right? Yeah. So I would always write poems about like struggles like that women face and stuff. So
dude, the ladies must love you.
Hey, it is what it is.
I love that. Okay, what would be your least favorite genre to write?
Let me see. Erotica. Like, all right, so yeah, I guess that one.
No, I feel you there. It's funny because I think a lot of people would say romance. And so I like that was something, because I wouldn't say romance is one of my favorite, but I like having an element of romance in there if I can. So yeah, man, I think that's really cool that you're so open with that. Like, yeah, man, I like that. Now I like your reason why. That's cool.
Yeah.
Peyton asked, I was gonna ask this earlier, so yeah, you win this round, Peyton. You bastard. I might have missed this earlier, but how long do you envision Aslan running for?
So currently I have it planned out for 17 issues, right? But I'm realizing that first that's gonna be a very big financial obligation to make it 17 issues. So I'm gonna take it book by book, right? Like for now I'm just gonna take it book by book. Like I'm gonna go at least up to 3 issues, but then after that it's really gonna depend on like how people will take the story. Like, is this something people want to keep hearing? Like, is something people are still interested in? You know, like
that's cool, man. Yeah, no, and that's smart, right? And I like that your vision goes that far. Is there any specific reason for the number? Like 17 is such an odd number. Is there a specific reason for that number?
Yeah. So the story itself is gonna be pretty long, right? So just a small background for the story. These main characters have to prove that they're worthy of this great power, right? So they have to go in 4 different realms and pass tests, and each one of them to prove they are worthy, right? So yeah, so like one going into one of those 4 realms could take probably like 3 issues, right? And like the I use Dan story circle mainly for structuring, and I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Like,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
yeah, so like the adapting part is gonna take like maybe like 4 or 5 issues, or like if you're using the 3-act structure, like like Act 2 would be like at least like 10 issues itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also depends on how long I'm gonna make them too, because I might make all of them 48 pages, because the next issue 2 is gonna be 48 pages. If I keep going like that, then it could very well be like only 10 issues.
Yeah. So you're doing like arcs that build into a bigger story rather than each issue being self-contained, right? Like every issue is going to kind of move into the next one, so to speak.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Peyton asked, is that third one going to close an arc? Like, are you basically going to do probably like the first 3 and that's the end of your arc, and then to open up for another one, so to speak?
No, so it would be more like issue, like how you were explaining earlier. Like issue 1 takes you right into issue 2. Issue 2 takes you right into issue 2. Like it's pretty much gonna be that way until the end, right? And that one is gonna leave it open for another arc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in the story, they're trying to retrieve the crown of power, right? So this arc is going to be about the crown of power, and that's what I kind of have planned. I know what I would want to do afterwards, but that's so far away. Like, yeah.
How far are you into issue 2?
Issue 2's done. Like the artist is already working on I think he's on page 8 already, so I'm pretty much done with issue 2.
Good for you. Okay, so you're done the script and he's well into issue 2. Are you waiting for that to be done before you go back to crowdfunding, or?
So what I'm doing is I'm trying to build up more of a fan base, I guess, like get more people interested, right? So I'm gonna be doing shows like this. Like, thank you, and I just want to take this time to say thank you for having me on. And I know it's I really appreciate that. And a lot of people would give someone that's not known like a spotlight, right? So pretty much what I'm gonna be doing is going on shows and trying to like build a fan base, and then maybe in June or May or June I would have the campaign for my second issue.
Okay, yeah, that feels like a good chunk of time. You should be. Is your aim to be done or mostly done the book by that point?
My aim is to be done, like by the time I start the crowdfunding for the book to be done. It just to like everything is to like ship and fulfillment.
That's a smart move, man. Brian Manel came in. He's our super fan. Love this dude so much. He said, I had to be AWOL for a bit, so unless this has been asked, what inspired or drove you to create Aslan? What kind of story do you want to tell with Aslan?
Okay, so what inspired me was pretty much so I'm from the Caribbean, right? Like I'm an outsider, right? Like as bad as it sounds, like I'm like when I came to the United States, I had to really get like I had to like fit myself in, right? Like I had to find ways to make friends. I was always the kid that couldn't speak English, right? So like I had like a tough time growing up, right? So and it's kind of the same thing for Aslan. He's in a world where that's not his home world, right? So he has to get used to everybody and show that he belongs, right? And prove that he's worthy to hang out with everybody. So I would say that's kind of what inspired Aslan, that character, right? And what was the other question?
Ooh.
Yeah, so that I would say, and then cartoons that inspired it or anime would be Star Wars and Naruto and Princess Mononoke. Can you pull up that so I can see the second part of the question?
Sorry, what's that?
What was the second part of the question?
Yeah, I'll put that back up there. What kind of story do you want to tell with Aslan?
Yeah, so pretty much with Aslan, I want to tell a story about self-acceptance, right? Pretty much accepting yourself for who you are, like getting over your internal fears, doubts about yourself, stuff like that.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? Sorry, kind of break away from this for a second. I really appreciate that. I did want to say something at the top of the show, and I completely forgot it. But we recently had I just heard about this today. Any of you out there who know Meredith Lofren, who has been absolutely amazing, interviewer, podcaster, creator in her own right, terrific lady. We just found out that she passed away. Don't know why yet, but I wanted to send out my love to all of her friends, family, fans, everybody. I mean, that was huge. Knew her very well, and she was always very good to me. And we were working on some. We were on some books together. Dustin Brunel's line with Ethereum Comics. We were doing a bunch of work, so she'll be sorely missed. Wanted to send her some love just while I was thinking about it. My wife reminded me because today's just been a brutal day for that kind of stuff. And not to bring the party down, but seriously, just wanted to send all the love out to her family and everybody because that's rough. And she was a really great lady. So just wanted to do that.
Yeah, condolences for her family.
Yeah, so, really, really great lady. Aaron Henry Jordan came in. He said, "Hey, Adjanu, love to see you plugging your stuff."
Aaron was like one of the first people when I came back from the military that I spoke to about the book. Right? And I remember going in his DM like, "Hey, dude, you want to look at my book and tell me what you think?" And then I did it and he actually replied. He was like, "Yeah," and then he read it and gave me very good feedback. So shout out to him.
That's great, man. Yeah, I think we all need a friend like that. So good stuff. Thank you, Aaron. Like, you're a great friend, and that's really cool stuff. Dominic Colby, of course, probably coming back with more Naruto. Will there be an Itachi-like character villain that reader sympathizes with after learning more?
There will be an Itachi-like character, right? But I can't say who, right? But there is Itachi. Itachi is my favorite Naruto character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that style of character. So yeah, I mean, to me, that in modern like superhero comics, I would call that like the Magneto style character, who in a lot of ways can also be seen as a hero and whatnot. So that's neat. Brian Manel says, "Already done with issue 2. Damn, dude, that's awesome. What kind of experiences from creating issue 1 have you brought over to creating issue 2? Anything you're learning or improving upon from one issue to the next?"
So what I learned from issue 1 was mainly people like, just a little bigger stories, right? And that's just from mine. For you, that it just could work differently, but for me, I just feel like people like bigger issues more, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. My boy Sean Barbour, my partner on Belial, such a great dude. Belial's happening right now. Where the art is coming out for issue 3, so can't wait to start talking to you guys about that. He said, "Hey, that's similar to Belial. Such a great storytelling theme and mechanic to use and propel a story." Alfie asked, "Where can we buy issue 1?" You can go to You can go to Indiegogo right now, and I'm actually going to scroll down because Peyton was nice enough to do that. Go to indiegogo.com/project/Aslan the Awakening #. So there you guys go. You can go track it down, hit up issue 1. And of course, that means that issue 2, you said issue 2 already, it's already written and it's 48 pages?
Yep. Issue 2 is going to be 48 pages and I think it's already written. My editor is doing like grammar stuff to it. Right, yeah, so doing grammar and then the artist is working on it.
That's badass, dude. That's phenomenal news. Seriously, I'm really glad to hear that. Do you have any other, this is happening, but a lot of people, you basically see kind of two creators. You see them where they make one and they just fall in love and that's their main thing and that's what they're known for. My dog is here trying to hang out right next to my phone. What are you doing, buddy? And then you have those people who get so excited. They're like, oh, now I want to make this and that and that and that.
Mhm.
Do you have any other stories and ideas that you want to work on, or are you pretty single-minded right now? You're like, nah, I'm all in on Aslan right now.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, I always have ideas bouncing in my head, but I don't really focus on anything else but Aslan, because I kind of really want to tell this story right before I start something else. That was actually one of the things I really debated, if I really wanted to make issue one of something else, or if I just wanted to keep telling Aslan.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, that's the question. I mean, it's funny because I did my comic and immediately fell in love and ended up taking care of some other stuff, all the while knowing I'm going to come back to my original one again. But my issue was I was doing something like what you're doing, except it's an ongoing. Like I can see that thing literally going forever. It doesn't really have an end in sight. My next book, it was a 4-issue series. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I think I want to wrap that up. So we're doing issue 3 right now, and then we'll wrap it all up with issue 4. So yeah, I get it. And then I've gone on, wrote a novel as well. Like just get so excited with shit. So you're the one guy, I'm the other guy, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And like I feel like now looking back, I think somebody asked that question. I don't think I answered it. Looking back now, I feel like if I knew what I knew now, I would have made issue 1 a lot differently. Like I kind of came into the, even like advertising wise, I kind of just came out and said, hey everybody, here's a book. Like I would have did a whole lot of advertising beforehand, and then I would have had a campaign, right? I would have structured my story maybe a little bit differently to fit more into like 24 pages, and then keep telling it that way, right?
Okay, thanks, buddy. Yeah, no, I feel you there. My dog's trying to get my attention. I love you, buddy, but I'm in the middle of something right now. What's that?
What kind of breed of dog do you have?
He is, Wendy, what kind of dog is he? He's part Catahoula, part Border Collie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both hunting dogs. So he's so fun. Pardon? Yeah, that's right. He's herding animals. So we have another dog who is a Chihuahua and Dachshund. And what's really funny is that when we would put them, okay, buddy, when we would put them both out on their leads, the bigger dog, this guy here, he would grab the other one's lead and kind of try to herd him over. He's like, all right, let's go. We're going over here now. And I'm like, let him do his own thing, man. So it's funny how all that stuff really is bred into them. Like, even if he's never seen a sheep in his life, but I bet you he could herd them if he had to. Sean says, I think being a creator that has a solid dedication to a primary character really speaks to the heart of how the story will go. Such a respectable attribute when we as creators struggle with the onslaught of a creative mind wanting to constantly ping pong into other arena. Yeah, Sean, I understand that fully.
I also have a 5-month-old. This is my first kid, so I can't.
Congratulations, dude! Good for you.
Thank you. So I can't really do anything else. It's like the little time I have to write, I better focus on the one book, and then give him all his time too.
Right. Yeah. Well, but that's also an advantage because it's like, cool, I can stay at home and work and still be around the kiddo, and feel good about that. It's not like you're young, you're in your early 20s, you're out there like at the bars and stuff, and then trying to find time. So yeah, good for you, man. Otis is around. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, man, feeling a lot better, doing a lot better. Even with COVID, I didn't stop the show. Luckily, we're very socially distanced, so there was never an issue at all. But yeah, man, feeling a lot better. Energy's doing better. Just getting ready to keep moving and keep making shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Peyton says that's how you know it's a good project to work on is when other projects can't pull you off. That's a really good point. Your boy Aaron says, I feel that I honestly can't work on one book forever. I'd get burnt out so fast. And actually, Aaron, that's a really good reminder. We're talking about Adjanu and all of his stuff too, but I know that you guys have some stuff going on too. Feel free if you've got something in Diamond, if you've got something on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, if you've got anything, hype it. Put it in the chat. I have no problem with that. Share the love. I really appreciate it. In fact, I have two things on Kickstarter right now that I've edited and worked on that I'm excited to talk about. First off, check out the Bankstons. Brink and Fetch. Just want to have fun. Absolutely fun. Great book. Sexy teens, supernatural powers and vampires and shit. Lots of fun. Really great. You guys will have a great time. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got our kids' book, Cat Dad and Supermom, that was picked up by Scout. Issue 2 is out on Kickstarter now. Check it out. It's about a little boy who has moral dilemmas and dreams that his parents are superheroes in his sleep, and they kind of help him get over his stuff. So, really good book there. I think you guys will like it. Great for the little ones. Just throwing it out there.
that one sounds really good.
Yeah.
Sleeping and then you're seeing your parent. That one sounds really cool.
So I would love for you to check that out, actually. And what's really cool about it is we specifically have packs where it's like we send you 2 books on the cheap with the idea that the kid's gonna, kind of wreck one up and have fun with it, and then you'll have another to sit and read with them.
Yeah.
So, and oh yeah, thank you for bringing that up, babe. And also this new one, we actually have a special coloring book cover.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so the kids can color on the cover and stuff and color it their way. So yeah, man, the whole team has kind of really went all in on really kind of trying to get the kid experience. We're all parents and stuff, so we have a pretty good idea of what kids want, and I think we've had a good time making that. So yeah, check that one out.
The coloring, the cover, that was really creative. That's really creative.
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, and what's great is now you've got your own like one of a kind comic, like no one else has one colored the way you did it. So yeah, I thought it was. To me, it reminds me of sketch covers. You know what I mean? It's that book is now a one of a kind. So yeah, I like that, and it's your kid. Like it's just awesome. Yeah. Congrats, but oh my God, kids will destroy your creative time.
Oh man, I hear 2 is when they're really, really bad.
Oh yeah, well, 2 is when they're running around and like you said yours is 5 months.
Yeah,
that's a great time. Yeah, okay, they might keep you up a lot and stuff, but while they're up, you can just be like fucking rocking them with one hand and typing with the other, But once they're on their feet and moving about, you gotta be listening and ready to run and check on them and stuff. Like, yeah, it doesn't get easier, that's for sure.
You know what I feel like because this is my first kid. I feel like because it's my first one, I just kind of want to see him running. Just to see him get up and run. I'm like, oh my God, he just got up and ran. Yeah, amazing. But I could every be an issue,
right? Every new thing is just so cool. So he's 5 months. He's starting to get on his belly and move around.
Yeah, so he gets on his belly. He pushes himself up. He tries to sit up and stuff.
That's great, dude. Good for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Dominic says, from looking over the Indiegogo, I think Burok is my favorite character so far.
Burok is a really cool character. Burok is like so most of the characters I found inspiration from characters that's already out there that I like, and I took certain parts from them. I would say Burok is more of the Magneto type.
Oh, okay.
Like Burok is all about the humanity, making sure like he's doing all he can so humanity can survive these trials. Because if they fail, because one part is if Earth fails, there is a very high chance that one of the other ones will try to take over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Sean says, parenting and being a creator is truly a double-edged sword. Oh.
I remember I wrote a whole, because I like to write on notebooks. Right, I'm probably like, I don't know why, but I love the feeling of writing in a notebook and then typing it. Right, the other day I wrote a whole thing and I was like, I'm not gonna forget that. And I left and I came back and my son just had it in his hands and it was like,
Oh man, that's rough.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you live and you learn. I know not to leave things around him.
You know, the universe will find some way to fuck your shit up. At some point, they'll find, like, literally. So, dude, I was like, man, I got to get some work done today. Pulled up and so, to let you know, my laptop, the battery has not been great for a while, so I just always leave it plugged in. Treat it like a desktop. So today I try to turn it on, it turns on, and then shuts right back down again. I'm like, oh, the battery is so shit now. So we literally had to go buy a new battery, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not getting a lot done today. It's all on the phone. I hate working on my phone. So it is what it is, you know? But yeah, the world will always find a way to fuck you up. Kids are just one, and luckily it's something that you can share with them. Like I said, that book that we're writing, Cat Dad and the Supermom, what's great about that is the creator's son, it's about his son and his kind of journey as a young autistic boy and whatnot. And it's really neat because it's about the son. A lot of the places they go is like comic conventions and that kind of stuff. And so this guy actually takes his son has already gone to like hundreds of conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 5 years old. Like, he's been taking them for years. So he takes them to shows and they'll just they just have a blast. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's great, dude. Like, good for you. You're able to make it about your family and include your family in that journey. My kids are all old enough. My youngest is 12. So my kids are all old enough where they're like, we don't give a shit that you make comments. Whatever, man. Sometimes they're like, ooh, can I get into a show? I'm like, yeah, but you want nothing to do with me. Like, they don't want to hang out with me. They're like, they want to get into the show and see all the other people, see the celebrities and shit. Like, they don't give a fuck that their dad's there. Peyton says, I ain't got shit to share. One day I will. One day I will join all of you in the link parade. Fuck yeah, buddy. But don't you have like a website or something to sell your own stuff? Sean says, right, I'm a single father of 3, and it's a true test of dedication and fortitude some days to push through, even for a little productivity. Mm-hmm. Paul Gomez, much love, dude. Paul Gomez has been going nuts around Texas. Every weekend he's got a show. Good for you, dude. He's a newer guy, too. Working with him, such a great guy, and he's really making it happen. Good for you, man. He says, what did you find the hardest thing to learn as a new writer-creator?
Great. So I would say the hardest thing is to was for me to find an idea and just stick with it, right? Because like this issue, I rewrote it like 7 times, right? Like I would write something, then I would be driving home and I would be listening to something and I'll be like, this would be way better if I did it that way. So I would say the hardest thing was for me to like find like a way to tell a story and just sticking with it.
Good for you, man. Yeah, no, I feel you. What's that?
And that's actually one thing I would advise to like new creators too, is like the first idea you get, just like don't just start working on that one. Like, don't get people if you're not the artist, don't pay an artist to start drawing that one. Mm-hmm. You know, think about it for a while first.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, really get it hammered down. I feel you. Mm-hmm. Aaron says, thanks, man. Wolfsbanecomics.com is where we'll be releasing our book publicly soon. I need a link for all your stuff. Dude, good for you. Thank you. Check out Aaron's stuff. See what he's got going on.
Yep, he has a really good story, too.
You got to read? You were able to read his already?
Yep, I was able to read it already.
Badass. Adjanu, if it's as heavy into action as or similar to Naruto, what are your impressions of writing an action scene within comics? What was it like? Any tips or pointers you'd like to share or things you're learning to do?
Okay, so with fighting scenes, I would like I do crowd, so I do martial arts, right? So I kind of know how people would be fighting, right? Because I kind of do it based on how I would do it, but I would watch a fight scene and just pick the highlight parts, like they threw a punch. Make sure you show the punch connecting. Don't just show somebody throw a punch and it never connected or anything. You know, like don't have them throw kunais and then it never hits anything.
You're right.
Like,
Unless they're really bad at it.
oh, yeah, unless do it if they suck. Like, if they
Right.
yeah.
Peyton says, my kid likes color, so I open a new Photoshop blank page and let him color. Been saving them in a special folder, so one day I might put them in a book. That's cute, man. Remember, if your kid likes to color, catdadandsupermom.com. Check out that book on Kickstarter now, homie. You got to get your plugs in, right? You know, you get that.
And the way you did that, that's something they could always have too, you know, like coloring a comic book, and then you could save that one, and then, you know, later on you see how much you suck at coloring, and now
Right.
how you're good.
I mean, artists do that all the time. They'll go back and they'll do like a throwback Thursday and like, oh, remember when I did this piece? Man, I'm so much better. Like my line work is better, my hand's steadier, you know, whatever. I've learned so much about inking, coloring, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sean says, I wish my little ones were still in car seat nap stage. Dude, anybody who's ever ridden in a car with me will tell you I never got out of that stage. I get in a car and it's like fucking, I tell people I have auto narcolepsy. I get in a car and I'm just like, oh shit. And I'm out cold, man. I call it teleporting. I fall asleep in one place, wake up somewhere else.
I cannot sleep in cars. Like,
no?
No, I can sleep anywhere but in a bed. Like,
see, I assumed being in the military, you could sleep fucking anywhere.
Yeah, that part really sucked. Like when I was in the military, it's like they would put you in a room and everybody just like, you know, find a little corner to sleep, and I'm just there like, oh my god, I can't fall asleep. Like, tomorrow is about to suck. Like,
that's hell, yeah.
Tomorrow is about to suck.
Do any of your characters have Caribbean influence?
Well, so the main character has dreadlocks, so I would say that's Caribbean influence, and their names are also pretty Caribbean like, except for Aslan. Like it's actually Turkish for lion, right?
Yeah.
Like I've actually had somebody reach out to me like, hey, you're gonna get sued by Narnia. I'm like, bro, Aslan is a word. Like, you can't sue me for a word.
That's funny. You can't sue me. And I've seen, dude, that's so funny when people are like, they're gonna sue you. If they're gonna sue me, they'll do it. This is done. Like,
and if I get to the point where Narnia is like seeing my stuff and they want to waste time to sue me, I'm in a good spot. Yeah.
And you know what? You can change the name of your stuff. So like they send out a cease and desist and you change the name. And one little story I'll leave you guys with is as a guy growing up in the 90s, as a rock fan growing up in the 90s in Canada, the band Bush came out and everybody loved Bush. But when they came to Canada, we already had a band in the 60s called Bush. So they actually couldn't put out albums in Canada under the band name Bush. So if you were to buy a Bush album in Canada, it was actually Bush X. And they had a little X. So if you go and you get, I used to have them. I'm so pissed off I don't have them anymore because they're probably rare. But in Canada, the albums came out as Bush X. So now they have the name worldwide and they can use it anywhere. But yeah, in our one country, you could only get that band as Bush X. So you just change the name and you're good if it got to that point. But yeah, I'm with you, dude. I don't see that happening. And if it does, good, man. You made it in a sense. Did you guys talk about the Elf Prince yet? He's the guy I'm most excited about. Did we lose the internet? Oh no. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Like,
okay, I disappeared for a sec.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys talk about the Elf Prince yet? He's the guy I'm most excited for.
So I think he's referring to Aslan, or is he referring to Zion? So so Zion would be the Prince of Earthrealm, but he's a human, right? It just their mics might make it look like they have elf ears, but he's a human, and he's pretty much one of those guys that's super motivated to like keep Earth safe, so he'll do whatever it takes, even if it means betraying friends.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm doing things for the greater good of my world.
Right. Sean says, tumultuous relationships, changing jobs, having kids, COVID, erectile dysfunction, something will get in the way of your creative momentum. You know what, man? I think erectile dysfunction doesn't get in my way. I can work fine. It's when I take a pill and it's up there for way too long, and then it's in the way of my laptop, and I gotta tape the thing to my leg. That's when it's a problem. It's the pills that fuck you up. What do you got? When you mentioned how one should think about the story for a long time first before writing it and getting an art team for it, was your story incredibly different from initial conception? And if so, what was it like that made it different?
Okay, so in the beginning, like the story was it was like a good story, right? Like it was still a cool story, but it wasn't like structured properly, right? So you want to make sure that your story is like very well structured. You want to make sure like what I mean is like you want to make sure that you have all the ideas put down, like because you might like at first you might have it that the character is doing something just because he want to be cool, right? But then later on you might figure out like no, I want to make him do it because he's a good guy and this is truly what he wants to do. You know, like nailing down these details, I think, like yeah, I think those things change your story a lot.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. Paul Gomez has his book, also another one that I edited. You guys are gonna really love this one, so check this one out. Launching February 7th. If you're excited, check it out and follow it now. Chuck needs to feed his hamster running his internet. Yeah, right. I do. When do you get the guy some nuggets? He said, "Holy fuck, that's TMI." Ah, man, we're just a bunch of creators having fun. You know what though? We're in for our hour. It's been a good time. Adjanu, I really appreciate you coming out, man. Why don't you tell everyone where we can find you?
So everybody can find me on Instagram at Aslan_Oken. You can find me on Twitter at Starsky_comics, right? And then on Facebook at Aslan Oken.
Awesome. Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. Next week, I've got comic legend from Xenoscope, Raven Gregory. So it's going to be a good month. We've got so much cool stuff. It was nice meeting you, Dominic says. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have so many good people coming out. Guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Adjanu, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate you showing up, and I had a blast just hanging out with you and learning all about what you do.
No, I very much appreciate you giving me the time. I think your audience has been very welcoming, like asking a whole bunch of very good questions, and they made it very easy for me to just relax. And
good. That's what we're all about here. Like I said before the show, man, it's just like at the end of a con. We're just going to sit down, have a beer, and chat. So I'm really glad you felt that way.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I will see you guys next time. Much love, Brian. Much love, everybody out there. Peace, love, and comics. My name is Chuck, and I give a fuck. Take care.